Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. Little mug up this morning. Hope you're doing great, and hope you're staying warm in this blustery and cold day. One thing to be cold, it's another thing to be cold and windy. Yeah, yeah. So hopefully the wind is going to die down soon, and we'll be able to enjoy a little bit of the sunlight. It's nice to see the sun anyway. Good morning, Karen. Glad you're here. Hope you're having a great morning. There's goodness in it. Morning, everybody. A couple people to come along here. Good morning, everybody. Hey, Vicky. Good morning to you. Hope you're doing great. I know the wind is going right through me too. I know exactly what you're saying. That's. I feel the same way. There, hey, good morning. Good morning. Doing chores. Oh, nice. Awesome. Yeah. Good morning, Jane and John. That's right. Have a little mug up with us. Well, hey, Linda. Good morning to you. Hey, Dawn. Hey, you know, so glad Dawn's with us this morning. I know his health has not been great, and he's having a tough morning. So if you have a prayer to spare this morning, I hope you'll pray for Dawn and in these days. Good morning, everybody. All right, got more seconds. A few more folks coming along. All right, little mug up. I know. Hold my back. Oh, it is a struggle. It is a struggle of a season. It sure is. Which is kind of what we're going to talk about this morning. So let's get going. It is the 18th day of February on this Tuesday at 11:11, and I'm glad you're here and glad you're a part of this journey. So Sarah Hildebrand, you probably don't know who that is, but she won an Olympic gold medal last year in Paris at in wrestling. She's actually one of the oldest wrestlers in the American world to have won a gold. She's 31 years old this year, and she just this week, just 2 days ago, just announced her retirement. She is retiring from the sport of wrestling that has treated her so well. Now, why do you care? Why do any of us care? But I was a wrestler. I think in many ways that thinking and talking about wrestling is in many ways one of the ways that well, there are only two sports in Bible. Just so you know, there are two sports in Bible. Well, there's maybe three, but one is kind of the same sport. So there is running and there is wrestling. And running is really racing. They run, they race. So there's really racing and there's wrestling. Those are the only two sports in the Bible. And I think they both have something to tell us about the spiritual life. And so occasionally I like to talk about wrestling. And the occasion of Sarah's retirement made me think of this. But let's set the stage first before we get to this quote about Sarah that I want to read you today and to talk about this, because it's about remembering this place that where wrestling comes up, and if it is in the 32nd chapter of Genesis when the angel when the angel comes to Jacob who is trying to reunite with his family, Jacob who is trying, after kind of doing the wrong thing, is trying to do the right thing, is now coming back and to be reunited with Esau, and he encounters and he sends forward his family, all the people that are traveling with him. He sends them forward across the river, and he stays at night by himself. And then when he stays behind, it is then that a man comes and he wrestles with him. And this is the story. But Jacob stayed behind by himself, and a man wrestled with him until daybreak. When the man saw that he couldn't get the best of Jacob as he wrestled, he deliberately threw out Jacob's hip out of joint. And the man said, "Let me go, it's daybreak." And Jacob said, "I'm not letting you go until you bless me." The man said, "What's your name?" And he answered, "Jacob." And the man answered, But no longer. Your name is no longer Jacob. From now on, it is Israel, God wrestler. You've wrestled with God and you've come through. And what's your name? And the man said, why do you want to know my name? And then, right then, there, he blessed him. And Jacob named the place Peniel, God's face, because he said, I saw God face to face and lived to tell the story. It is in our confrontations, it is in our challenges, it is in our struggles in life where we end up finding and meeting God face to face. We like to think it's in our struggles. We like to think it's in our good times. We like to think it's in our happiest and most blessed and joyous times. We like to think that it's when everything is good. It's actually when when our bodies are breaking, when we're contending with things in our lives, when with broken relationships, when we're failing at our jobs, when our family isn't getting along, when we have to endure, when we have to persevere, when we have to wrestle through the dark of the night. It is those hours, in those moments, that we will come through them and see God face to face. This brings me back to Sarah Hildebrand. Sarah this is what her coach wrote about her as she now, retiring from the sport this last week, goes on to become a coach in her own right. Remember, Sarah Hildebrand, she won the gold in Paris at the Olympics last year. She's 31 years old, crazy old for being a wrestler. And this is what her coach writes about her. It is not just what she has done, it's how she has done it, says the national team Terry Steiner said in a press release. She has been through everything. She was a kid who couldn't make the national team and struggled. She made the world team and then she struggled. She got hurt, and it was then that she realized things. She took a pause and she changed. Because of her experiences, there is not a person on our national team and around our program that doesn't respect her. The respect is not just about her accomplishment in Paris, winning the gold medal. It is how she reinvented herself to become a great champion and a great human being. And she will become a great coach. Friends, the invitation to the mat, the invitation to be a God wrestler, the invitation to persevere in the struggles of your days, and the invitation is not just so that we suffer, is not just so that we endure pain, is not just so that we're shown to be tough. It is that we can be remade, that we can be retooled into the angelic sphere that God has for us. We can be remade in such a way so that we can see God face to face, so that we can know the goodness in our days. We can know that we can not just have the love of the people around us. There's plenty of people around us who love us. Even the most obstreperous of us, there are people around us who love us. The question is, can we receive that? Can we take it in? Can we know that the person next to us, the person around us, truly loves and cares for us, and that we can see God's face in their face? That comes to us through the struggles of our days and through enduring those struggles. And that the endurance of those struggles actually remakes us. Actually makes it soothes our temper. It encourages our depressiveness. It opens us in ways that we could never imagine, to become a wrestler that we never thought we could, and to actually win the gold. That this is really what God. It is in many ways the whole purpose of our experience in this life and our journey in this life, is that we may be known as one not just who wrestles with God, but who is renamed and remade in the beauty that God has for each one of us. 9,000 years ago, just before the last great ice age, before the last great cataclysm, when everything kind of got reset in the world, even as far back as we can have records of, there were paintings, in Mongolia, there are paintings on the walls of people wrestling. This is so deep within us. This is so a part of who we are, that my hope for you is that you will not let go in your darkness. That wherever you're struggling, whatever day you're having, wherever the place that night, that when that night is where the night has fallen and you are wrestling, that you will not let go, that you will continue to persevere and endure whatever things that seem to be afflicting you these days, whatever seems to be struggling with, that you will continue, and in your endurance you will find your new name. This is the promise. This is the promise that we have this way of discovering who and what we are, of being remade and retooled by God, being renamed by God, not by the gifts of joy, not by the wonders of our strengths, but by even the wounds that we get, by the pains that we have as we wrestle and as we endure. The point is not to win. The point is to find out who God truly has in store for us to be. And that, and not just in this life, but even into the next. And that to be that, even if only just for a bit in this life, even if only that we can get there on occasion, and even if we can only touch it, when all the stars line up, that we can find out this true life that God has for each one of us, to be named and to be seen and to be loved in a way we never thought possible. And it requires us simply to stay on the mat, to keep wrestling, even though we may be tired, even though we may be hurt, even though it may even seem personal sometimes. And that in that, it is God's job to remake us new. Well, we can always stop him. But if we'll let him, he'll retool us and remake us and make us not just a better person, but make us a new one. I wanted to share Sarah Hildebrand's story today, and talk a little bit about wrestling, because I think you see a little bit of that in her story. And I hope you see a little bit of it in yours too. Peace and grace to you, my friends, on this day, whatever you're wrestling with. May you know that you wrestle not with demons, but that you wrestle with angels, and that you wrestle with God. And all so that he may deliver the gift to you of seeing him face to face. Peace and grace to you, my friends, and we'll pick it up tomorrow with another 11:11.